How's it everyone? Jacques. Today we're gonna do a little chat and things I've learned around coffee making for those of you interested. Hopefully you guys can hear the birds in the background, hence the pause. So in any case, coffee. I'm going to talk about, first of all I'm based in South Africa, so just to give some context. I've been fortunate enough to have learned from exceptional, knowledgeable people in the coffee industry, and they helped me along the way on my coffee journey. So what is great about this process from my perspective is that the mistakes you make is so much less if you listen to the knowledgeable people, buying the right stuff up front, not wasting any money, and at the end of the day enjoying exceptional coffees. So I specifically have a Breville Barista Express. I'm gonna quickly switch that on. This is an entry-level type of machine. So first of all you do not need to spend huge amounts of money on machines and grinders to get excellent coffee. And that's what I am hopefully going to try and convey in this video. So, Breville, as you heard, it's quite a loud machine. It's got a vibration pump and some other stuff in there. But once it's going, it's quiet. You also hear when I extract coffee that vibration pump is going to create a bit of noise. That's just part of the internals of this machine. On high-end machines, you're not going to get that noise. They're going to be smooth, they're going to be quiet, and so forth. But it comes at a price point. So for me, I haven't got a budget for high-end machines. So speaking to the people, getting the right advice, I was directed at Breville. Hence I purchased this machine purely on what the industry, or the experts, not the industry, which trusted people I know guided me towards. So this is the Breville. This machine is not stock. It's got a little lever on, a little knob on the side. I've got a metal lever on here just to give it a nicer look and an easier ease of use. I also don't use the standard tamp that comes with the machine. I was gifted this by a very good friend of mine. So a custom tamp and also a dosing funnel, but we'll get to those components when I'm gonna make a cup of coffee. If you're interested in South Africa in an exceptional specialty coffee at a very good price point, but moreover of exceptional consistency over years, Euphoria Coffee, Warren, I'll leave details, a link to his information below if you're interested in specialty coffees. This one, Colombian, and you would see this is a lighter roasted beans. I hope the camera sees this. Very flavorful, flavored coffee. In any case, so the only things I have changed or added from stock on this machine is IMS baskets. So let me quickly show you. This is what the basket looks like, the IMS basket. The standard basket The standard basket looks like this. So that's the difference between the baskets, also the way they're shaped and the size of the holing. This was on the side of the machine to activate the steam and the water that I replaced. So I've got two baskets. I've got one in the standard porter that comes with a system when you buy it. And I additionally got also a gift for a bottomless or open porter with a nice wooden handle that looks very, very nice on this. And so if I need to split off a double shot, I use this one. And if I pull the coffee for us here at home, this is what I use. So I want to move this out the way. And then I am quickly going to take you through the machine. So I don't think it came out clear on the first bit of the video, but this is essentially the difference between the standard and IMS or a custom basket. And there is a difference in the way they extract and the flow through they get. So I'll talk about the bits and pieces I think is useful to get and which not so much. The other thing I use is a WDT tool. I also got one as a gift. These things tend to have very thin, like acupuncture needles in to help distribute the coffee. They've got a tendency, if they're very fine, to hiccup in the holes and then get damaged, break, or get weak over time and the break off. I actually made a custom one with slightly thicker wire, and that's what I use. But this is a very useful tool, essentially very easy to make, and I'm going to show you how this works. It's called a waste distribution tool. A WDT is what it's referred to in the industry. And this is just used to declump your coffee once you've ground it. Okay, so let me, the other thing which I have is what they call a puck screen. It is essentially a dense mesh, and what it does is it goes into your porter on top of the coffee, and it just ensures that there is an even distribution of water at an even rate going through when you extract. These are one of the things that actually makes a difference, and you'll see this is the size and the information of it, and there's still some coffee on there. So let me quickly show you how I go about making a cup of coffee using these things, and then we'll move the camera underneath to see what it looks like coming out. And then we'll talk about another thing which I think is the best espresso coffee maker on the planet, and this is a Bialetti. You put it on a stove. But we'll talk in this in a different video, otherwise it's going to become a long video, but I'll show you. If you want to make kick-ass coffee, get yourself a Bialetti. Okay, so we're going to make a cup of coffee. So one is the machine's been on, but you'll see this light flashing, so it's in standby, and you know the head will start getting warm. If you hit the program button, it will come on and you can start working from here. Now, how I use my grinder is, I grind about, it grinds out roughly 18 grams of coffee. You normally put the porter on here and you push it, and then it starts the grind process, but let me show you. So I've got a little basket instead, which I put in there, and then I just use a little stick. So that's what it looks like. Now before I put it in my porter, there's a couple of things to note. First of all, is you would have seen a bit of coffee still on here. Also the previous shot has got coffee in, and moreover this porter is cold. One of the most critical things in making a proper cup of coffee is working at the right temperatures. So on a cold machine, if you had the porter in there, it would take some time to warm up. I want to maybe come here and see if you guys can show the flow on this mesh. So it does two things. One is it cleans off all the coffee that's in here, and it warms up the porter. This is, I can't hold it for very long. Alright, so the next thing I do is I've got a little cloth. I put out the mesh of the puck screen, and I dry the inside of the porter. Then I put my dosing funnel on there, and you would see coming out of the grinder very clumpy. And you do not want coffee to clump because it creates channeling. So what you do is you use this little tool and you just declump all of this. I hope this is in shot. And once you've declumped it, you would see that's what it looks like. I then just give it a single tap, and then that's what I'm sitting with. What I then do is I take my custom tamp, and you would see that it fits in very tightly, specific for this porter. That's the other thing that is important. And then I give it a good level press down and a slight little twist. And then we sit with a nicely tamped coffee puck. I put my puck screen on top. I put the porter in. I'm going to grab a cup, and then we are going to extract the shot. So, here we go. So this shot had a little bit of channeling, not a lot, a little squirts, not channeling. So this is what the coffee shot looks like, and that's how I pull a shot. So I'm just gonna put the camera back on the mount. Alright, so I've pulled my shot. That's what it looks like. And I can tell you, it's going to be a fantastic coffee. I'm going to just let that sit and cool down a bit before we give it a little taste. Coffee's flavor develops as the temperature drops. So if you want to test that, take a spoon. Do your tasting while it's warm, leave it for 2 or 3 minutes, come back, taste again, come back another 5 minutes later, and see how the coffee profile changes. So as an example, I like a coffee with black coffee with milk most of the time. So what I would do is I would put the cold milk in first, and then I would extract the coffee into the cold milk, and then add a little bit of water to my taste and liking. I want to show you the other thing. So the coffee grinds in the porter became wet saturated, so it expanded under pressure. And so if you do not have a puck screen on, if you take this off, the coffee would have pushed up onto the screen on the inside, and you would see the screen is clean because no coffee came through. That's one of the other advantages. So the Barista, a budget entry level espresso machine with a grinder in, that is something that was important to me, to have a grinder. Otherwise you need to go and spend money on another grinder. The grinders on this is quite good. It's definitely not the Weber, but if you do the basics right and have decent coffee, you're going to get exceptional shots every time. In fact, I would challenge most guys with high-end machines with a Breville and some of the accessories I've shown you. And it's because of good preparation, a good understanding of what you're doing, and a consistent execution thereof. That's essentially what I wanted to show you. This, in my view, is the best coffee maker in the world, Bialetti. They've been around forever. This is a stainless steel one. Our Bialetti works is same thing. You've got a filter, you put your ground coffee in there, you fill this base with water, you put this on, the water heats up, the steam in the water presses the water through the coffee puck, up through a pipe in a channel, and then extracts it into this beaker. I use an AeroPress filter on top of this, pretty much like a puck screen, and you would see my dosing filter also fits on here quite nicely. So the downside with this is you need a grinder. I have got one, but if you want to go a whole lot cheaper, buy yourself a Bialetti, and in my opinion, one of the best grinders you can buy, irrespective of price point, is a Comandante. A Comandante is a handheld grinder, which you can dial in the grind size at the bottom. They are quite expensive. In South Africa, I think they about 5,000 Rand. I've used one before. They are exceptional. So you get a grinder like that, you grind your coffee, you put it in your Bialetti, you put it on a gas top, on a fire, you can put it on a normal stove, induction plate. I actually have also additional hot plate for my gas top for the Bialetti. And it also enables you to be mobile with that. So if you're somebody that likes camping but still wants to have a kick-ass coffee, that's what I would recommend. These things are very underrated, very popular in Italy because they know their coffee, but in any case, a cheap alternative if you've got a grinder for having a lovely coffee. Sorry man, so before we wrap up, I mentioned in the beginning of my video there's a couple of things I would recommend, which I think is important, and other things not. So if you're going to run 18 to 20 gram shots in a basket like this, I would recommend getting a dosing funnel. You can 3D print these things, you get them clever with magnets in so that when you clip them on, they don't come off. This one hasn't got that feature, but it's perfect for me. So a dosing funnel, I would recommend a WDT2, it'll be in focus, a WDT2, very, very important, and you know, it goes well with a dosing funnel. So important. They are not expensive, they can be, but you can make yourself easy one. Find some acupuncture needles and put them in a cork. That is what the guys generally do. these things are very, very good. The other one, which is important, that for me makes a difference, is a puck screen. It controls the flow rate. It does make a difference. Upgrading the baskets does make a difference too. So these are the things I would get. I've got, as an example, I've also got a IMS shower screen in my machine. This is what the stock one looks like. So I've got an IMS one, a whole lot better consistent holding, and they've got a mesh in there that also helps distribute the water. And the reason for that is this machine has got a single nozzle, so where the water comes out, it's on a single spot. So the bulk of the water is coming through the one side of the screen, out of one side of the screen, and then it would work only through on one side of the puck, and then you get larger chances of channeling and a bunch of other stuff that changes the flavor profile of your coffee. Having said that, if you have got a puck screen sitting on top of that, this is going to fix a lot of the problems with the shortcomings in a shower screen. So I've got one in there. I think it does make a bit of a difference, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference. So for me, a puck screen is going to be important. Baskets does make a difference. And then the tools you need to do your preparation is what you need. When it comes to accessories for coffee, there are hundreds of items at price points from cheap all the way to expensive. So understand what type of tool you need to do it, get that tool once off, and move on. You get very fancy tamps with mechanisms. You get automated things that tamp them down specifically to within a few grams within a pressure range. Is it needed? Does it make a difference? I'm quite sure it makes a difference, but we're starting to talk at fractions, at least for me, by spending a huge amounts of money chasing fractions. So there is a return on your investment, so just consider that. I've had visitors here, and it's not people that will sugarcoat things for you. You know, they're friends and they're open. They'll tell you when things are not right with your coffee, and these are people with lots of experience and very expensive high-end machines and grinders. And so I know it's possible to make brilliant coffee, fantastic coffee on a consistent, continuous basis, shot after shot, with entry-level machine like this, if you've got your basics and understanding right. So thanks for that, and now we can wrap up on the video. And once you've had a proper cup of coffee consistently, your mind and views on coffee flavor will change forever. I'll do more videos, otherwise this is going to be come a bit stretched out. There's other things like the grind amount, which I'll talk about in another video. And then important thing people forget is you need to take this machine through a cleaning cycle every now and again. and everybody can't find their manual, and then they go onto YouTube to see how to do that. So you really don't need to. If you take out your water container, they've got instructions here on here, reminders how to clean your machine and so forth. So a lot of folk forget about that, even though they take this in and out a lot of times. So you don't need YouTube, just see the back of your Breville's water reservoir. See you guys later.